I think you're one of the few people, David, who has read Project 2025's mandate for leadership cover to cover. It's almost 1,000 pages, 922. So, in broad strokes, what was your takeaway after reading the whole damn thing?
Right. I'd read bits and pieces during the campaign, but I hadn't read the whole thing. And when I actually sat down to read it, I was pretty astonished. It was a richer document than I had realized. It was more radical. It was more interesting. There are these conflicts in it. And it seemed like such a roadmap to what we would expect from a Trump administration. And I think that's exactly how it's played out.
You were initially somewhat skeptical of the hype around Project 2025. But as you said, it was much more radical than you thought. Can you tell us more about that and what you ascertained that made you think, Jesus, this
Right.
is pretty serious stuff?
We get these kind of policy blueprints every 4 years. And often they're just kind of lists of policies people want. And that's what I thought this was too. But this is really a whole scheme for remaking the federal government and then remaking American society. I think its ambitions are just much broader. And it has methods. I mean, they've thought about how to make these things happen in a way that the typical policy wish list just doesn't have.
Like what? I mean, tell us the methods. So it's one thing, the policies, but how do they hope to implement it to get sort of widespread acceptance? Give us a little more meat to understand the methodology they hope to incorporate.
Yeah, I mean, the centerpiece is taking charge of the federal government and taking charge of the executive branch in a way that no president has before. So they lay out how to take over the Justice Department, how to use the Office of Management and Budget, which is, kind of a dusty agency as the command center for taking charge of the federal government, how to use the Office of Presidential Personnel, and then to sort of accrue presidential power by taking over independent regulatory agencies. So things like, the FCC or the FTC, traditionally, they work relatively independently. They're appointed by the president, they're leaders, but then they do their own thing. They think that's unconstitutional. They want Trump to be directing those things. And once you have control of all of them, and you start to push civil servants out as well, you can make the federal government do what you want to do, and that includes creating this very conservative vision of society.